I'm Laurel Smith.
Okay.
I'm Laurel Smith, an AZNHA Board Director and Chair of the Education Committee. Thank you for joining us today. A couple of announcements. You will all be muted to avoid noise disruptions during this session. We will have a Q&A at the end of the main presentation, and you can send your questions using the Zoom chat function, or you can hold them to the end and we open up for Q&A, at which time we will unmute everyone. We are recording this session and it will be posted on our website for future reference. First off, I'd like to introduce you to Jonathan Battaglia. Is that correct, Jonathan? Okay.
Good job. Yep.
He's with ADP. Jonathan is our newest associate member, and we've invited him to give you a short introduction to his company and how he can help our members and their clients. Jonathan, take it away.
Okay. Thank you so much, Laurel. And hello, everyone. Super excited to be here. I am the Home Care District Manager here at ADP. We are the largest payroll and HR company in the market. Yeah, I just became an AZNHA member a couple weeks ago, and super excited to get to know everybody. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from the Chicago area. I moved here in 2020 in the midst of COVID. It was supposed to be a 2-week vacation, and it turned into a permanent move with my then girlfriend, now wife. So we just got married this August. You can kind of see her in my picture there. Her beautiful hair's flowing over a little bit into the picture. Yeah, a little bit about myself. I love Chicago sports. I play the drums. So if anybody out there wants to talk about the Bears, Cubs, whatnot, or get together for a jam session, I would love to do that with all of you. ADP just launched last year the home care division. We realized that there were some unique challenges in your industry and wanted some sales reps that understood your industry in and out and how to provide the best services possible. So I'll try to make this very brief. I'm going to go high overview, but if anybody is interested in connecting to go more in depth, I would love to do that later. So some of the solutions that we've found that we can provide to you and some of the challenges that you're facing. So people that I've been talking to, it seems like you might have a little bit of a revolving door when it comes to employees. It's a tough market for employees. So yeah, we've seen some difficulty with talent attraction and retention. ADP is helping by providing our clients with data for wage benchmarking to make decisions on where to set wages. So we can actually go in and see what other healthcare providers, home care providers are making in your exact zip code. We're providing technology for recruitment and onboarding to create a more seamless experience for your employees. You know, I've heard of people accepting a position and just not showing up the first day. We can bridge some gaps there with technology. And then also staying engaged with your employees, providing performance reviews through technology, minimizing risk. There's changing laws all the time. ADP takes some of that work off of your plate when it comes to laws with payroll and reporting. And then we're seeing a lot of businesses needing to run leaner to stay profitable. So with technology, we're allowing HR administrators, owners to get rid of some of those administrative burdens, focus more on strategic initiatives within the business, and focus on employee culture to help retain those employees. One thing that I've noticed, and this is just across all businesses, we get in there, we start talking about payroll, HR. Businesses have so many different technologies that they're using to create that employee experience. So on the left side, you see all these disjointed systems. ADP kind of creates a single ecosystem that you and your employees use to handle everything from recruitment to retirement and in between. So here's our technology. It's called ADP Workforce Now. This works for employee sizes of 10 all the way up to the Disneys of the world. So, you know, ADP has been in business for 75 years as the industry leader. If you have an issue, we've probably seen it before and we have a solution. Speaking with some of the business owners of the home care industry, it seems like data is a huge sticking point. Like, you guys can lean on ADP to provide data for you. You know, we pay 1 in 5 Americans. What we've done is we've turned that data back to our clients for you to use when it comes to wage benchmarking, making business decisions. We actually provide the jobs report for the U.S. government. So we have a plethora of data and we give it to you. Basically, that's pretty much it. I'm just really looking forward to introducing myself to everyone, learning more about your industry, more about your business. I'm relatively new to the home care industry, so I've leaned on people like Laurel, Monica to, you know, just pull knowledge from you guys. I'm a sponge, so if you're willing to help me, I would really appreciate it. And then, you know, from my side, I can provide a free benchmarking for your business, and, you know, find where you might have gaps to create the best culture possible for your employees, attract and retain talent, and be an employer of choice in Arizona. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Does anyone have any questions for Jonathan? Do we have anything?
ADP will also have a booth at the AZNHA conference coming up. So if I don't get a chance to meet all of you one-off, please stop by.
And that's a great, we've got 2 segues today, because I was just going to do a reminder of our conference is August 25th and that you would be there. People are going to want to join us to hear the great presentations that we have lined up, as well as breakout sessions. And this year of our speakers is Robert Espinoza of PHI and Brian Brown of Dementia Care Education. And that's our second segue to go into today's presentation. Today's featured speakers are Sherry Friend and Janice Greeno. Sherry is the president and CEO of Oakwood Creative Care and a passionate nonprofit leader. Janice is a senior outreach program manager at Banner Sun Health Research Institute and Banner Alzheimer's Institute. Janice serves as the Arizona state lead for Dementia Friends USA and Dementia Friendly America. Ladies, the screen and the audience is yours.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. As Laurel mentioned, we're going to be talking about Dementia Friendly Arizona. And I am honored to be able to co-present with my colleague, Janice. We've been able to work together on several projects in Arizona, and I just really love Janice. She's got an amazing, joyful spirit and is very knowledgeable. So Janice, I'm going to have you kick us off and kind of tell everybody about Dementia Friendly Arizona.
Well, thank you so much, Sherry, and thank you all for having us today. It is such an honor to be presenting to you and sharing a little bit about the Dementia Friends movement in the state of Arizona. I am so grateful. Oh, Sherry, I can see your Indeed screen. There we go. I am so grateful that we really have the opportunity to partner together with organizations like Sherry's at Oakwood Creative Care. She does tremendous work as a CEO and president, and she's made an impact that has had a ripple effect across our state, which, if you don't know about the Alzheimer's and dementia statistics at this time, I just want to stop and share them with you. From the Alzheimer's Association, we have new numbers out that say that over 6.7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease. Just last year, it was 6 million. The rate in which people living with dementia and Alzheimer's disease is growing is astronomical. And here in the state of Arizona, in 2020, the Alzheimer's Association estimated that over 150,000 Arizonans aged 65 and older were living with dementia. And at that time, they estimated about 257,000 Alzheimer's family caregivers were helping to support those individuals. Well, unfortunately, we are the fastest growing state in the nation. And at that time, we were projected to see an increase in Arizona cases alone by 33.3% by the year 2025. Do the math. If you slow down for a moment and do the math, that means that right now in 2023, we're over 200,000 people in Arizona who are 65 and older living with dementia, and over 300,000 family caregivers. Also, according to the Alzheimer's Association, 10% of people 65 and older have dementia, and 50% of those 85 and older have dementia. Age is the biggest risk factor when it comes to Alzheimer's and dementia. And some people will ask, why do you think that Arizona is growing so fast when it comes to dementia? Why are we at the top of the nation with these statistics? And I think one of them is something kind of bittersweet. We are a fabulous retirement destination. People want to be here most all of the year, except for a few months in the summer. And so it is so interesting that as our community grows and as people are aging, we are seeing these numbers increase significantly. And it is so important for us to not only support families who are living with dementia and people who are living with dementia to improve their quality of life, we also need to support their whole family. And we also need to do research so that we can end dementia and Alzheimer's before we lose another generation. And that's why I am so grateful that through my role at Banner Sun Health Research Institute and Banner Alzheimer's Institute, that an arm of this outreach is all focused on supporting the community through Dementia Friends. And you might be asking, well, what is Dementia Friends? If you could go to the next slide, please. Dementia Friends is a program that was developed in the UK by the Alzheimer's Society, and it's now in the United States. In 2015, it started in the United States, and it helps community members in 3 main areas. First of all, to just understand what dementia is. And we offer 1-hour Dementia Friends information sessions for free in the community, and we have numerous Dementia Friends champions who will go out in the community or offer your organization Dementia Friends information sessions, which this one we're sharing today is just a little bit about the Dementia Friends movement. If you want the whole Dementia Friends information session, my contact information will be listed at the end, and I can provide that to you in your organization, or it can be like it was in the UK. It started in someone's living room and friends came over for scones and tea. So imagine a rainy day in the UK and people sitting around the living room going, hey, what is dementia and how is it affecting your loved one? And how can we support you in this journey? And that's how Dementia Friends, this global movement, was born. So as I mentioned, it's now in the United States, and it helps community members understand what dementia is, how dementia affects people and their caregivers, and how we can make a difference in the lives of people living with dementia. And it can be in big ways or small ways. It could be like Oakwood Creative Care getting involved in the Dementia Friendly Arizona movement, or it could be, hey, I'm going to take my neighbor out to coffee every now and then just to give their loved one a break. Anything big or small, maybe taking a meal over to someone living with dementia, supporting their caregiver by, if you've got a lot of leaves in the neighborhood, raking their leaves. So there's so many ways that people can get involved and make a difference. Here in Arizona, it's so exciting. We've been working with Dementia Friends about 8 years now, and the city of Tempe was one of the very first 5 dementia-friendly communities in the nation. And then in about 2019, the city of Surprise joined. Since then, we've had 7 more communities join, and you can see them listed there. I'm so grateful for their partnership and all they've done, especially through the pandemic, to help people living with dementia while they were so very isolated, not only by the disease, but by the pandemic. So my gratitude goes to Scottsdale, Phoenix, Mesa, Glendale, Pima County, Goodyear, Sun Lakes, and Fountain Hills. About a month ago, Fountain Hills joined this movement. This movement, you might wonder what Banner Health's connection is with this. At Banner Alzheimer's Institute and Banner Sun Health Research Institute, we hold the license for the Dementia Friendly movement. This movement had not come to Arizona, and we saw that the need was great. We didn't have it at a state level. And so we could make a difference in the community. Banner Health said this will be an arm of the work that we're doing through Banner Alzheimer's Institute and Banner Sun Health Research Institute. For these communities, it's a free program. They don't have to pay any fees. They can get involved in this work to join us in this grassroots movement to see what's working well in their communities and how can they build a more dementia-friendly community. Maybe what are some things that they can raise awareness about? Maybe there's resources and supports that are already available that people don't even know exist. So that's a little bit about the Dementia Friendly Arizona movement. You can find out more at dfamerica.org. When we share our Dementia Friends information sessions, we go into depth about dementia, about communication tips, about early signs and symptoms, about what dementia is. But there are 5 key messages that we share in each one of our presentations that are so important for people to understand. First of all, dementia is not a normal part of aging. Yes, it is the biggest risk factor to age. And you're like, wait a minute, so more people have dementia as they age, so doesn't that make it a normal part of aging? It actually does not. Just because people have more likelihood to have cancer as they get older, does that mean it's normal? No, it is not. And so that's why with research, we are working to end this disease before it affects another generation like mine. In my family, before my grandmother passed away at 97 years old, she was diagnosed at that time. They thought that she had Alzheimer's and vascular dementia combined. And this is a disease that not only impacts her or people living with dementia, but their whole family. And I can't say that enough. It impacted our whole family, from grandchildren to great-grandchildren to my parents, who she moved in with, and they cared for her until her final days. My mom especially slept with one eye open, if you can call it sleeping. And as much as I went there, I was so grateful to work for an organization that allowed me to work from home, which was actually from my parents' home, to help out. I just think that it's so important for us to understand this affects the whole family. So another thing about dementia, it's caused by diseases of the brain. In our information sessions, we go over some of those diseases and what they are. And then dementia is not just about having memory problems. So often people just think dementia is about, not being able to remember things anymore. But dementia is an umbrella term that includes many different aspects of function, and it impacts things that we take for granted every single day. And people are unable to function in their homes like they once were. And sometimes they are no longer able to live at home and go to memory care. And we're so grateful for people who allow people to live home longer, like Sherry at Oakwood Creative Care. Their program is amazing. I can't wait till you see some of the pictures at the end and how they've gotten involved in 2 main communities, but they even helped us launch the Fountain Hills program. She's going to share a little bit more than that. But the third thing that we always share, the third thing was dementia is not just about having memory problems, but fourth is it is possible to have a good quality of life with dementia. This one has to be my favorite one because it's hopeful that even when somebody has dementia, as they're navigating this dementia journey with their family, hope is still available. Quality of life can still be as good as possible, and people can live their best lives with dementia when they have the support of family, friends, and the community to support them along this journey. And then always remember that there's more to the person than the dementia. Sometimes, often actually, dementia has a stigma that goes along with it, that not that people think it's contagious, but in the voice of someone living with dementia, we asked her on our podcast, which is called Dementia Untangled. It's reached almost 72,000 all-time plays as of today, but it's a podcast to help people navigate the dementia journey. We had someone on the podcast who was living with dementia, and we asked, what can people in the community do to help support you and your husband through this journey? And do you know what she said? She said, would they just please call? People have stopped calling. I used to have so many friends, and I just wish they'd call. I might not be able to answer the phone right away, or I might not hear my voicemail for sometimes a couple of weeks, but just hearing your voice and knowing you're there and that you haven't forgotten about me, it makes the world of difference. So remember that just like with cancer and diabetes and other diseases, there's more to the person than the dementia. Next slide, please. At the end of our Dementia Friends information sessions, we have the opportunity to give people a moment to turn their understanding into action. And I mentioned some of these actions earlier, but it could be something as simple as calling a loved one who has dementia, maybe getting in touch and staying in touch with someone that's not in your family that has dementia. Maybe if you're a caregiver, to every now and then, just give yourself a pat on the back and take care of yourself. not only be more patient with your person who's living with dementia, but be more patient and kind with yourself, because it's so overwhelming. Caregiving can be so lonely and exhausting. And if you're going through that right now, I don't know what your story is, but if you are, take a moment to take care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, then you're able to better take care of your loved one. And maybe you want to turn your understanding into action by just being more understanding of your neighbors or a family member that's going through this. Or maybe it's carrying out a personal action. And so we always invite people to get involved with Dementia Friends by taking some time to turn that understanding into action. Next slide, please. And we always want to share resources in our communities. Sometimes when you're out in your line of work and you come across somebody who is living with dementia, you might find that they don't know what resources are available to them. And I always like to share the Alzheimer's Association's 24/7 hotline. People can call and ask questions from professionals. And then the Maricopa Area Agency on Aging for us here in the metro area, they have a 24-hour senior helpline. But if you're in other areas, such as in Pima County, where we have dementia-friendly Pima County, they have the Pima Council on Aging, the PCOA, and they have a helpline as well. So reach out to those area agencies on aging in your community, because they're there to help. Next slide, please. We now have over 18 memory cafes in the state of Arizona. So what is a memory cafe? It's part of the dementia-friendly work that we do, where we meet in person and virtually. Some meet virtually. This one in the city of Surprise meets both virtually once a month and in person once a month. But the group typically gathers for coffee, and then we have some social time, and then we provide some life enrichment activities for people living with dementia, and a support group session for people who are caregivers, who are journeying alongside of their person. But this program and others like it are free of charge. And for this one, no reservations are required. And that's actually my phone number there, which will also be listed at the end of this PowerPoint. And I would encourage you to reach out and find out more about memory cafes for those who are living with dementia. Next slide, please. And then with our clinical care and support, sometimes people don't realize that Banner is doing so much altruistic and generous work in the community when it comes to support. We have a family and community services department that has all kinds of free classes and resources. There are outstanding clinics that people can go to in Phoenix, in Tucson, and then at Banner Sun Health Research Institute in Sun City. And you can find out more about them online at the websites listed there. Next slide, please. And I hope that you'll stay connected. If you are interested in this program, you can become a Dementia Friends champion, and you can find out more by emailing me at janice.greeno@bannerhealth.com. Or we have a class that's coming up. It's a free Dementia Friends session, and the Dementia Friends session is virtual. If you just want to go to the full 1-hour session, the next one will be tomorrow, April the 20th, and that's through Sun Health at sunhealthwellness.org/classes. But most of them are offered through Banner, and it's at bannerhealth.com/calendar. And at bannerhealth.com/calendar, you will see not only Dementia Friends information sessions. The next one I'm going to be leading virtually is July 13th. You can look that up under Dementia Friends. Or if you want to become a Dementia Friends champion, that session is Wednesday, May 24th from 1 to 2:30, and you can find that at bannerhealth.com/calendar. Next slide, please. if you like podcasts better, if it's easier for you to just listen to things and to find out more, and you're like, oh, I want to learn more, please take the time to listen to our wonderful friend, Barbara Mason, who's one of the vice presidents at Sun Health in Surprise, Arizona. And she was also a caregiver for her mother-in-law. And her story is so powerful. Brought tears to my eyes for sure, but you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. It's called Dementia Untangled. And now I'm going to pass the baton over to Sherry. Sherry, next slide, please. She's going to
Well,
be
thank you,
sharing about some
Janet.
great work. So here's the baton.
Well, I'll take that baton. So Oakwood Creative Care has been involved in the dementia-friendly movement for a while now, starting with helping with Tempe, and I really just loved the initiative and thought it was a profound way to be able to help create inclusivity for people living with dementia. And so for those of you who aren't familiar with Oakwood Creative Care, we are a nonprofit that has been serving the East Valley for over 48 years, particularly focused on adult day health programs. We call them day clubs. And our unique spin on providing and offering this service is to really focus on the person through engagement. And so we've done some pretty radical things through those day programs. But what we found as we were caring for so many people for so many years is that the burnout of the family member was so relevant, and that in order to keep them in their homes for as long as possible, we needed to start focusing on helping that family care partner. And so in 2020, we worked with Banner and the Dementia Friendly Initiative, Dementia Friendly America, and we were able to get Mesa certified as a dementia friendly city. And so Oakwood was the lead organization. So every city, some cities are the lead organization that helps the city to become certified, but also some organizations can take the initiative and they create what's called an action team or a task force. And so in Mesa, we did that in partnership with the Mesa Chamber of Commerce on the Healthcare and Aging Committee, and created a task force through that committee and worked with the city to be able to identify what the needs of the city are. And so in doing this research and in this work, what we found is that we needed a place for the community to be able to have dementia inclusivity, training, education, and resources. And so we were able to achieve a grant through the Administration of Community Living that is helping us pilot this program. So in January, we moved into the building that you see here on the slide, which is located at 6915 East Main Street. And the idea of this building is to create an easy access point for the community. So in these pictures, you see some of our task force members that meet on a monthly basis. And then they also put on the Memory Cafe. And in Mesa, the Memory Cafe meets on a weekly basis. Every Wednesday morning, they just met this morning. And then here's a little picture of the proclamation. The city of Mesa kind of took it a step further and did a proclamation for Mesa being a dementia-friendly city. So the space is designed at the Dementia Hub to be friendly and fun and a non-threatening environment. And we want it to be a space where community resources are able to come together. And so that way we can give warm handoff referrals, and people are able to build relationships with not just Oakwood, but also other members of the community who are members of our task force. So the hub is a place that creates community with a team of dementia experts offering coaching, resources, and education, and of course, the Memory Cafe. So the way we look at the Dementia Hub is that there's all kinds of activities happening on a regular basis to draw in the community to help create that level of engagement and community. So we are doing dementia screenings on a monthly basis. We are working to increase dementia capability of workforce professionals with dementia education. So using that Dementia Friends training that Janice spoke about earlier. Then we also are using our dementia expert team to expand training offerings that are open to the community. And then we are also doing the dementia experience training, so you can actually experience what it's like to have dementia. And then working through the Dementia Friendly Initiative, Mesa is one of the only cities that's offering the business designation program, where we're able to help work with businesses to make their environments more dementia friendly. And then we have the memory cafes, family education and support, and then community events are happening on a regular basis as well, whether it be live music. We just want it to be a dementia friendly space so people aren't isolated. They are able to develop connections and relationships. So we use the same principles that we have in our day clubs, and we draw that into the dementia hub. So we're using art, music, and lifelong learning classes, as well as some animal therapy. You never know what animal you're going to meet when you walk into any of Oakwood's locations, whether it be pigs, cows, or bunnies and dogs. Life is important, and so we want to integrate intergenerational animals, all the things into all the work that we're doing at all of our locations. But what's really special about the Dementia Hub, beyond just what we're doing to create a community center, is that we are the first organization in Arizona to launch the COPE program. COPE is an evidence-based program out of Drexel University, created by Dr. Laura Gitlin. And it is a dynamic program that is bringing together occupational therapists and advanced practice nurses, or physician's assistants. So COPE really works with those challenging cases where the families are really striving to keep their loved one at home, but there might be some barriers that are making that more challenging for them to do so. And so the occupational therapist goes into the home and works with the family for 2 sessions, doing assessments, really trying to understand the readiness of the family care partner and what the person living with dementia is experiencing. Then the physician's assistant goes into the home and does an evaluation, works with the families on understanding what medications they're taking, maybe what medications might not be good for them to continue to stay on. And then they also do a blood draw and a urine analysis. And what we're finding is majority of the folks that are going through the COPE program actually do have urinary tract infections. And so we're able to work with the families and identify what medically might be causing some issues. And then we work with their providers. If they don't have a provider, we help them connect with neurologists or whatever the situation might be that they need. Then the OT comes back in and does another 6 to 8 sessions working with the families to help with education, training, and then problem solving the different issues they might be having with their loved one. And so we're seeing tremendous results with what we've done so far with these families. A lot of times you just, you go into the doctor and they only have, a few minutes to be able to work with the family. But this team is able to really go in and dive deep and help families deal with these challenging situations and navigate this disease process. So the hub team includes the occupational therapist, the physician's assistant, a hub director, and the engagement specialist that does the classes for the people with memory impairment. So how do you get involved? Janice talked a little bit about that, but if you're interested specifically with the Dementia Friendly Mesa Task Force, I have an email of Terry, who is our hub director, who can help you get plugged in to the Dementia Friendly Mesa Task Force. And then Oakwood is also a part of Dementia Friendly Sun Lakes. We're pretty involved in that initiative as well. And in the Sun Lakes, they also have a memory cafe that meets weekly and on Mondays. And so I've given an email to get in touch with that task force so you can get more information about that initiative as well. And then, like Janice said, we're so super excited about Fountain Hills and their excitement about the Dementia Friendly Initiative. And they are really at the launching point to start developing what their dementia friendly initiatives are going to look like. But you can also get more information on Oakwood's website if you're looking for more information about the Dementia Hub. And then going back to Banner and more ways to get involved. And here's Janice Mai's contact information. And we would love to open up for any questions you guys might have.
Thank you very much, Janice and Sherry. That was valuable information and so helpful. I am not sure how many people actually knew the initiatives for the dementia-friendly neighborhoods, cities, and how far it's going even statewide. I don't see any questions in the chat. I do have a question for you, Sherry. If you can go back in your slides to the one before the art. You were talking about the dementia screening. I believe it was right there, dementia screenings, and then some of the other things underneath the bullet points there. So can people find that information out on your website? Do you have those links posted as to the calendar as to when you hold them, etc.?
Yeah, so on the Oakwood website, on the Dementia Hub page, there is a calendar of events. And so we have just, this is a brand new program just getting launched. So month after month, we're having different activities and trying different ways to be able to connect with the community. We just had Dr. Goldfarb come out and do a presentation the other day, and she was phenomenal. I learned a lot from that presentation. We have somebody from Barrows coming out in May. So there is a lot of ways if you want to stay connected with what's happening in the community, keeping an eye on that calendar or following us on Facebook. We always list those events there as well.
And the one you just mentioned that was phenomenal, who is that and what did they present on?
So Dr. Goldfarb, we have it on our YouTube page as well, so you can watch that. But she kind of talked about the latest trends in what's happening in Alzheimer's disease. She's out at Sun Health, right, Janice?
Yep. Banner Sun Health Research Institute in Sun City.
But she's just a dynamic person in general because she's a neurologist and has a doctorate in psychology. Is a psychiatrist.
Yep.
So she just gave some really practical information for the family caregivers and even professionals in what's happening, what to be aware of, and it was just a great training.
Thank you. So people can view it on your YouTube channel. Great. Okay. Does anyone? I'm going to check the chat again and see if anybody else has any questions, and there is nothing in there at this point. So thank you again, all three of you, very much for your presentations and the valuable information. The AZNHA Board of Directors want to thank all of you for participating today. Our May session will be held on Wednesday, May 17th, and our speakers will be Charles and Sherry Scott of Peloton Capital Management. So watch for advertising for this session coming up soon via MailChimp. Thank you very much, everyone.